Hey there, football fans. Welcome to the Week 13 preview. Week 13 is kind of a big week. The playoffs will be solidified. Right now, we know for sure that Devin's in and Graham is in. And we know that one of Rich and Matty Ice will be in, because one of them will be at 8 wins. What we don't know is Drew going to get in? Am I going to get in? Is Derek going to get in? Or is Calder going to get in? So, should be an interesting week. A couple good matchups this week. We'll start. I don't think I'm going to do an official game of the week this week, because we had Rich versus Drew last week, and they're both in what I would say would be game of the week this week. So I'm going to go with. I was going to go with one. Because of that, I'd probably go with Devin versus Deke, but really one of them's 12-0 and one of them's fighting for his life. So we'll just go down through the matchups, and I might do a little more on some of the games than others. We'll start with mine, me versus Drew. So I played Drew week 1 of the season, and I said to myself, play Deshaun Jackson against Washington. And then the game time came, and I said, Curtis Samuel. It cost me the win. So we could have reverse records right now, but I played Deshaun Jackson. So that was also the start of the Lamar Jackson crazy train of amazingness. So surprise right off the bat in this is that I'm benching Deshaun Watson. So Watson versus New England, I'm not going to take that risk. So I picked up Nick Foles going against Tampa Bay. So Nick Foles is my guy. He won Philly's Super Bowl. He's a key player for me. Nick Foles, I need him to get 30 because I need him to keep up. And Lamar's got like 30 to 48 in the last 4 weeks. So that's the quarterback is obviously, I'll do a little bit more on this one just because I might do them all like this. Quarterback matchups, the advantage is Lamar. It's whether or not my wild card can keep up. Running backs, Le'Veon Bell for Drew's got a great matchup against Cincinnati. He's been doing okay, but he hasn't had that big stud game yet, and I hope it's not this week, but he could. On the other side, I got Derrick Henry. Henry's been really good the last few weeks, ever since I got him from Han. Really, he's been quite good. So Derrick Henry's going against Indy. Excuse me. Just got back from curling, trying to do it before the Thursday games. So reminder, set your lineups, because games start at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So Derrick Henry's been, like I said, been really good. Indy's a good defense, but Tennessee's gonna run the ball. So I'd say they're pretty close due to matchup, but you got to give the advantage to Derrick Henry right now. That's not saying Le'Veon Bell won't outscore him, but Henry's been the man. Mike Evans versus Julio Jones. Julio's didn't practice. He'll probably play, but he's tomorrow. So Mike Evans against Jacksonville. So it's been the Chris Godwin show lately. Is this a game where Mike Evans becomes a Mike Evans show? I guess time will tell. But anytime Julio Jones is involved, other than a couple wide receivers, advantage Julio Jones. Now, question: will Marshawn Lattimore play? And if Lattimore plays, and when he covered Jones in their first matchup, Julio wasn't doing anything. Then Lattimore got hurt, and Julio got a 50-yard touchdown, or a 50-yard catch. He hasn't scored a touchdown in a long time. So, advantage Julio. Tight end. Drew could score a lot of points. If this was PPR, and Han's got him in our PPR league, if this PPR, Ertz going to get a bunch of points this week. So Ertz against Miami, and I got Waller. So with Hunter Renfrow breaking a rib and puncturing a lung, Waller should be in for an uptick on targets. But again, that's one I'm hoping he can keep up. So that'll be touchdown dependent. But Ertz is number 1 target in Philly going against Miami. So great matchup there. Advantage Drew. So right now, 3 of 4. Advantage Drews. Melvin Gordon, let's look at the flexes for me. Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Williams, and Chris Carson right now. more than likely, Chris Carson will not be in my lineup unless some sort of clarity comes out in Seattle that he's still going to get the volume that he got. But I'm not. If Chris Carson gets 15 carries, I don't want him in my lineup against Minnesota. So more than likely, I'll go with Melvin Gordon, Jonathan Williams, and Devontae Parker against Philly. So good matchups all around. Yeah, it should be interesting. That's a pretty solid flex crew. On the other side, you got Cortland Sutton, who's been really good this year. Sony Michel, who's going against Houston, so Houston gives up some yards. Sony could be in for a good day. And Allen Robinson. Does Allen Robinson get the Darius Slay treatment? So Slay's pretty good. So tough matchup there. I'm going to give that advantage to me on the flex. Even with Devontae Parker in over Chris Carson, I think that the advantage is pretty solidly me there. But those wide receivers, only takes one big catch to turn your day around. Kickers, Oakland's kicker versus Dallas's kicker. Theoretically, Dallas has a better offense, but they're playing a much better defense in Buffalo. So, wash. Your guess is as good as mine. It's my only player playing Thursday is my kicker. He got 16 points against me when Han had him, so let's see how much he gets when I put him on mine. Probably 3. Into the defense, Drew's got the number 1 D-line, so he's got the advantage there. I've got Nick Bosa. Watching Nick Bosa rush the passer is a thing of beauty, but the passer he's rushing is Lamar Jackson. So I get the number 1 linebacker, but he's got the number 1 linebacker over the last few weeks. So does Schobert show up like he did against Pittsburgh the first time around? Because he ate 18 points that game. Hicks, he's in. Luke Kuechly is dead to me. He's on the waiver wire for anybody that wants him. The other option for me is Fred Warner. He's been a stud lately. But do I think he'll get enough tackles against Lamar Jackson? I'm not sure. Either way, I would give that advantage on recent history to Schobert. And DB, Logan Ryan's number 1 DB overall. But Eric Reed put up 14 points last week. So that's I'm going Eric Reed on that one. So overall right now, less than 2-point victory, or 1.13 points is what NFL.com is saying. Drew is the favorite. Looking at the teams, I'd say Drew is probably the favorite, but am I going to pick Drew? No. He's Rich's daddy, not mine. So I will get my revenge this week, and I will go headlong into the playoffs. And if I get my revenge, we'll see if Drew makes it, because it could be back-to-back. We'll see. So, that's my game. That's me. Game number 2. Grudge match. Not really. Han versus Graham. So, Graham gets to play his boy Carson Wentz this week. Han gets to play his boy Jared Goff. That's pretty fun. That's the position I'll be watching. Key players in this matchup. Let's just do them all. Let's do them all. So that quarterback matchup, I might go advantage Goff. Even though Wentz has been real good, or real poor, and he's going against Miami, Goff's going against Arizona. Oh man, but Goff looked bad. So Arizona defense is nothing like it. So until you tell me that the wide receivers in Philly are healthy, I think Goff's got the advantage there. Run CMC has the advantage over Todd Gurley. But in that matchup, does Gurley do what he did 2 weeks ago? Does he get 25 carries? So Christian McCaffrey scores like 30 points every week, so advantage him. This is probably the best matchup. Michael Thomas versus Devontae Adams. Adam against the Giants. He should feast on them. And Michael Thomas against anybody. He should feast on them. So I'm going with New Orleans to get their revenge on Atlanta, so I'm going to say Mike Thomas has the advantage there. Tight end, right now Graham's got a tight end, Evan Ingram in. I don't think Ingram's going to play, so he'll probably end up with Jack Doyle or something like that. And then you got Ryan Griffin on the other side. So if Evan Ingram plays, again, and then it's advantage Graham. If he rolls out Jack Doyle, I'll go advantage Hahn with Ryan Griffin. Over on the wide receiver, or the flexes, Graham's got Juju Smith-Schuster, Michael Gallup, and Ronald Jones. Jones has a good matchup this week. Jacksonville can be run on. Gallup's getting the number 2 for Buffalo, so that should be good. But they got good DBs. So, and Juju, I don't even know if he'll play. And if he plays, will he do anything? I'm not counting on that. You got Christian Kirk, who might get the Jalen Ramsey treatment. Darius Geis against Carolina, that's a good matchup. And Hahn's got an empty slot. So, if we went down and looked at his team, I wouldn't play Manny Sanders against Baltimore. If Alshon Jeffrey plays, I'd play Alshon. Mike Williams, I'd probably play Alshon if he's healthy. So I'll say Alshon for Hahn, and so it's pretty close. I'd give the advantage slightly to Hahn on that one, but just slightly. Kickers, I'm going to give the advantage to the Baltimore kicker because I love Justin Tucker. But New England against Houston, if New England can move the ball, Folk could have a big day. So looking at D-line, anytime you got a San Francisco D-line, it could be good. And Houston against Tennessee, he's a sack guy, so I'm going to go advantage Graham on that one. Linebackers is advantage Hahn. Littleton's having a good year. I'm not sure Roquan Smith is having a great year, but Graham, interesting fun fact, Graham had Roquan Smith last year when he won the championship. He wasn't a keeper, but he was his linebacker. And Jordan Poyer versus Taylor Rapp. So I'm going with the Buffalo guy. Buffalo puts out DBs. So I'm picking Graham to win. I picked Hahn last week. The jinx isn't back. Matty Ice put up second highest points. So I'm picking Graham. So I got me and Graham to win so far this week. 2 Eagles fans. I'm going to pick Devin too. All 3 Eagles fans. Going to win. Big game for Jason Calder. So Calder, had he beat Derek, he'd have his he'd be in the playoffs right now. And in a win and you're in situation. Now he needs a win, and he needs a loss from me and Derek. So he's playing Danny, my boy. Danny, why not? Got Benny Snell on the waiver wire. Good tip. So you got Josh Allen versus Drew Brees. Drew Brees against Atlanta last time didn't have a good game, and I think he is going to crush. But Josh Allen's got a good rushing floor, and he deserves to be started against Dallas. So we'll know tomorrow who the better quarterback is. I think Drew Brees. Running backs, Zeke Elliott against Buffalo. He's going to have a good game, I think. Phil Lindsay against the Chargers. He's going to have a good game. But if I had to pick one there, I'm picking Zeke. Talk about 2 wide receivers who should just destroy their opponent. Cooper Kupp for Danny Wynot, and DJ Chark against Tampa Bay. Kupp's going against Arizona. Those 2 guys are going to score. I'm going to go advantage Chark because I think that Tampa will score I think Jacksonville will score in Tampa, and Tampa will score. So it'll be a shootout. I'm going to go Chark. Tight ends, my boy Dallas Goedert versus Miami. That's a decent play. That he's tight end dependent, but he got 8 or 9 targets last week, so he should get some volume. Greg Olsen against Washington, I think he'll do really well. So I'm going to go advantage Greg Olsen on the tight ends. And then flex. Flex for Calder is Crowder, Scarborough, and Singletary. I do not love the running back matchups there, but I do love the Crowder matchup. So the running backs will get volume, so they can overcome a tough matchup by getting the ball a lot of times. Over on the other side, you got Marvin Jones, Stephon Diggs, and Benny Snell. Give me those 3 flex over the other 3. So I'm going to go Danny Wynot on the flex. Kickers, Detroit's Matt Prater against Chicago, and Jason Myers against Minnie for Seattle. I'm going to go Seattle, just better offense. D-line, I love me some Cam Jordan. So it's the battle of the Cams, Cam Jordan versus Cam Hayward. I think that Atlanta has a bad offensive line, so I'll take Cam Jordan in that matchup. Linebackers, Terrell Edmonds, I think is his name, from Buffalo, versus Demaro Davis from New Orleans and Atlanta. I think Davis is the better matchup there, so the linebacker goes over to Danny Wynot. And then DBs, I like Wilson from Detroit over Weddle from Los Angeles. So this one's going to be close. Right now, Danny Wynot is actually the favorite. I think destiny is on Calder's side. I think Calder will win. But man, I'm not sold on it. I may change that pick by the end of this. Has anyone had more injuries this year than Danny Wynot? 2 quarterbacks all at once. James Conner, as he played, like, holy moly. As a Rosie would say, holy moly. All right. My boy Dan Evans against Mike Yip, the David Killer. Gonna keep, well, we got another. I mean, he can't leave Daniel Jones in his lineup, right? He's got to put Mahomes back in. You'd think, right? You got Mahomes. He's got to play. He's going against Oakland. So Mahomes against Kyler Murray. I'll go Mahomes. But I had to think about it because Kyler's having real good games. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think they both score in the 30s. Fournette versus Kamara, another good one. Fournette going against Tampa Bay's run defense. Kamara going against Atlanta. I'll take Kamara. Even though Fournette scored 20 billion points last week, I'll take Kamara. Mari Cooper's not going to get shut out again. I'm assuming Yip puts some guys back in off his bench. Thielen, maybe. Drake probably goes in. But let's say it's Cooper versus Thielen if Thielen plays. If not, then we'll leave it as MVS. If it's MVS, it's a crushing. If it's, man, I gotta stop doing these so late. If it's MVS, it's Cooper by a mile. If it's Thielen, it's going to be close. I think Cooper's going to show up against Tre'Davious White. Not because White's not good, but because Cooper's too good a route runner. Hunter Henry versus Jared Cook. That's a crapshoot. Cook's awesome last few weeks. Hunter Henry's been good. I'm going to go Hunter Henry on that one. Even though I think they're both going to score double digits. So, flex for Dan Evans. Devonta Freeman, Calvin Ridley, David Montgomery. Ridley's been crushing. He'll get the number 2 against New Orleans. Montgomery's got a great matchup in Detroit. And Devonta Freeman is coming back from injury, and he's going against New Orleans, so I don't love his matchup. Terrell Williams should be good against Kansas City. Friggin' A.J. Brown should, who knows? He'll probably get 0 this week. But he's got a decent matchup in Indy, not great. And Darius Slayton looks like he could be in for some targets against Green Bay. But give me the sure thing, Calvin Ridley and David Montgomery over the crapshoot on A.J. Brown and Slayton. Now, one of those is going to come out. I'm assuming one of them comes out for Drake. And if that's the case, Drake against the Rams, I think he could do better. So it'd be a wash. If Drake goes in, I would say it's a wash. But kickers, it's Lutz against Atlanta and Gay against Jacksonville. It's Lutz. Lutz is the guy. And then defensively, I'll take the Jacksonville guy going against Tampa Bay over Aaron Donald in Arizona. He got shut out almost last week. I'll take Blake Martinez. I'll take the tackle machine over the playmaker in linebacker. Give me a safe linebacker. And I'll take Marcus Peters. He crushed me at 10 last week. I'll take Marcus Peters. But Dan Evans will win this game. There's no way you can go 30 above his projected points again. And that's what he's going to need to do to beat Dan. So, if he does, we should let him in the playoffs. We're going to do Devin's game. Devin against Deke. So there is a way that an under 500 team gets in the playoffs this year. If I lose, Deke loses, and Calder loses, I get in at 6 and 7. All right, Tom Brady. Tom Brady versus Houston or Jimmy Garoppolo versus Baltimore. Tom Brady, right? It's got to be Tom Brady this week. Going against Russell Wilson, going against Minnesota. So, I mean, I think Russell's got the advantage there. Saquon versus Chubb. You know what? Give me Chubb. Saquon needs to show me, and he might, and I might be wrong, but Chubb's been showing me all year, and Saquon has been garbage since he came back from his injury. One game, he had 13 rushes for 1 yard. They suck. So, give me Chubb. The Lockett stack comes in for Devin versus DJ Moore. Moore's getting a ton of targets. But Minnesota's pass defense is no good. So, give me Lockett and give me Moore to score double digits. Then you got the cutoff. You know, Hollister against Mark Andrews against San Francisco. I'll take Hollister. I'll take all the Seattle pass options I can get this week. So, who you got in flex? Carlos Hyde, newly traded for Carlos Hyde going against New England. Not a great matchup. Austin Eckler going against Denver. Much better matchup. And Hollywood Brown going against San Francisco. Not a good matchup. But he beat Jalen Ramsey last week like a drum. So, now that's, who knows why, but those are decent flex. Will T.Y. Hilton play for Devin? If T.Y. Hilton doesn't play, then you get Curtis Samuel. You got both Carolina Panthers in this matchup. DeAndre Hopkins, that'll be a fun thing to watch. DeAndre Hopkins versus Stephon Gilmore. If anybody doesn't believe Stephon Gilmore is the best corner in the NFL, then I think you're crazy. That guy takes number one out every single week, and he shadows all the time. Jalen Ramsey's real good and he's real big. Gilmore is not real big. Give me either, but I'll take Gilmore. And Aaron Jones for Green Bay against the Giants. Give me Devin's flex. Kickers. Arizona kicker versus Cleveland kicker. I'll take the Arizona kicker. Last time Cleveland played Pittsburgh, they only got 3 extra points. D-line. DeMarcus Lawrence could put up a big day for Deke because Josh Allen could be running around back there, at which point in time, Sack City. Devin got Danielle Hunter back for Minnesota going against Seattle. So if they sack his quarterback, he gets points. If he doesn't get sacked, he gets points. Devin's got a lot of players in this Seattle-Minnesota matchup because his linebacker, Bobby Wagner, is also there. Versus Khalil Mack, give me Bobby Wagner. Like I said in the last one, give me the sure thing in the linebacker position. I'll take chances in DB for playmakers, but give me the other one. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick. I played Minkah Fitzpatrick against Devin once, and he was playing Cleveland, and he had 1 tackle. Wasn't not what I had in plan. Against Eric Harris for Oakland, give me Oakland because I feel like Kansas City is going to throw the ball a ton. Right now, NFL.com's got Devin winning by 13. I think Devin will win. It hurt Deke's feelings last week. You know what? Pivot time. Nah, just kidding, Derek. I think Devin's going to win, but if Devin stinks it up again, it's all on Russell Wilson. Needs Russell Wilson to get him some points. So this game won't be decided till Monday night because that's when Russell plays. So give me Devin. Like I said, picking all the Eagles fans. Should have known I wasn't going to pivot. Never turn your back on an Eagles fan. All right. This game guarantees someone a playoff spot and might knock out someone else. Maybe they both get in. Joe Cool, who just lost 2 straight to Lamar Jackson, versus Matty Ice, who just won 2 straight over Hahn. So you got a team under 2 losses, team under 2 wins. I told Rich there was a scenario he wasn't going to make the playoffs, and his response was, I'm going to win the championship. I love his confidence. Baker Mayfield against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers stunk last week, so I think he rebounds. Baker Mayfield, I don't think he'll beat that Pittsburgh defense up in Pittsburgh, so give me Rodgers. Dalvin Cook versus Latavius Murray. Cook. No explanation needed. Kenny Golladay versus Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill. No explanation needed. Kelsey versus Kittle. Whew, that's a good one. Kittle's going to have to be good for San Francisco to score on Baltimore. So that one's I'm going to say, I would say a wash, but I'm going to pick the advantage going to Travis Kelce against Oakland. Speaking of guys playing ball in Baltimore, Mark Ingram, best post-game interview. Joe Mixon and Josh Jacobs. 3 good running backs for Rich. 3 good matchups. Well, sorry, Rich. 2 good matchups. Josh Jacobs versus Kansas City. He should feast. Joe Mixon versus the Jets. He should feast. Mark Ingram versus San Fran. He's touchdown dependent in that game. But they run the ball so well, they might just be able to run on San Francisco. Edelman. Now you go the other way. 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. Who wins? You decide. Edelman versus Houston. Tom Brady's go-to guy. Keenan Allen versus Denver. Chris Harris treatment. Not a great matchup. Chris Godwin just had 1 billion points last week. Does he get AJ Bouye? Or does Mike Evans get AJ Bouye? I know who I'd like to get AJ Bouye. Godwin. Anyway, give me the 3 running backs. Give me the guaranteed volume. Kickers, Harrison Butker versus Adam Vinatieri. Give me Butker. Now, if I'm Matty Ice, I'm putting in Greg Zuerlein. And then, still give me Harrison Butker. But, I think he's got a better matchup. But, the Colts defense is probably good enough to get in the scoring position. But are they good enough to score? Vinatieri might not be a bad play. D-line, some guy from Cincinnati I've never heard of. Just kidding. He's like a rookie or something. Hubbard. He's been good against one of the big guys for Washington against Carolina. Kyle Allen likes to turn the ball over. But give me the Cincinnati guy going against the New York Jets. Darius Leonard versus Jalen Smith. This one is tailor-made to be a wash. But Darius Leonard's so good at tackles. But Jalen Smith, he really can fly. So I'm gonna go with Darius Leonard, given the advantage, but I think they're going to be close. And then Jamal Adams versus Sheldon Williams, maybe? No, that was a basketball player. I don't know who the Williams is, but give me Jamal Adams. He's real good. So, question for Rich is there place on his team for Jarvis Landry and his 4 or 5 straight games with touchdowns? Does he stack them? Does he think he needs to stack them? He probably doesn't think he needs to. Looking at this game, Rich has the advantage by 6 points. I'm calling the upset. Sorry, Rich. Should have had a bye. Yep, I think Matty Ice takes Rich down, and I think it's because Aaron Rodgers has a really good game. So, there you have it. What would that do for the playoffs? I'd be in. Everybody else who's already in would be in. Because I had Devin and Deke. Devin beating Deke. So, a couple of records on the line this week. Put it on the message board. If Devin wins, he sets the record for most ever wins in a league season without even making it to the playoffs. If Rich scores 150, I think it's 150, but I might have wrote 155. But if he scores 150 plus, he will be the highest scoring team of all time in the league. So they're out there. And then another record on the line, Jason Calder, most wins ever. He's already got it, but he's got a shot to make the playoffs. So you're saying there's a chance. So don't forget, tomorrow's American Thanksgiving. 3 games tomorrow. Detroit versus Chicago, Dallas versus Buffalo, and the night game, New Orleans, Atlanta. Should all be good. Except for that stinker to start. Who wants to watch Mitch Trubisky? Nobody. Except my father-in-law. All right, so there you have it. That's the preview. It's midnight. It's time to go to bed. So, my wife's asleep, so just remember, if your wife's asleep, there's always fantasy.